Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and even though my voice is not fully recovered yet, I'm still a little bit hoarse. As promised, I am restarting the How to Spot a Fake Natty series, something that I originally did on the Ice Cream Fitness channel that I haven't done on the new channel. Well, I'm back in the Great Republic of Texas, and the defamation laws are a little bit different here. So best of luck to anybody trying to sue me. So, the fake natty that we need to talk about first in this series is going to be Simeon Panda, because this big motherfucker is definitely on some whey protons, and ain't a lot of them. And this guy runs around talking about how natty he is all the time. I've seen him in TV interviews in Australia talking about how he promotes natural bodybuilding. We've seen him on social media talking about Trenbolone acetate being a bunch of shit and poison, and he'd never put that into his body. And we've heard all this rhetoric from him. But let's just stop and look at a couple of things here. Let's look at Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was the Mr. Olympia side by side next to Simeon. Oh yeah, and let's think about their stats for a minute here. Let's not even factoring in the fact that Simeon is actually leaner than Arnold is at contest time. He is 6'1" at 230 pounds at contest, while Arnold was 6'2" at 235. So that means they actually have about the same amount of muscle mass for their height. Then when you factor in that he's probably about 2% body fat leaner than Arnold was, that's probably an extra 5 pounds of muscle more than he had than Arnold. Well, what's the big deal? Well, Arnold was not only one of the most genetically elite bodybuilders of all time, he also started using steroids, admittedly, when he was 15 years old, and he used large amounts of them all the way through his competitive career. So for over a decade, he used massive amounts of drugs. He trained his ass off. He trained harder than Simeon does in the videos that I've seen, in addition to using massive amounts of steroids for over a decade. Yet Simeon has more muscle mass and less fat than he did. So Simeon, we're supposed to believe your lying ass when you said that you're natty? You're full of shit, bro. And let's look at something else. If we go back and we look at an article that Lyle McDonald did, there's quite a few other experts, people with PhDs who've done similar articles on this topic, but we're going to look at Lyle's article down below discussing fat-free mass index. The reality is, before steroids hit the scene, you didn't see bodybuilders with fat-free mass indexes over 25. And what I mean is, I'm not saying there weren't steroids floating around. They weren't officially floating around until 1954, at least as far as unclassified documents that we have from the US and Russian governments. And we do know that by the end of the 50s, they had trickled into the bodybuilding world. Well, guys before that who were winning Mr. Americas, winning Mr. Universes, didn't have fat-free mass indexes over 25 when they were under 10% body fat. And it's generally considered by most credible experts that the limit that a person who is lean, meaning 10% or lower body fat, the highest fat-free mass index that they could probably hit is going to be right around 25 if they have good genetics and they train really hard. So let's look at Simeon Panda's fat-free mass index. At 6'1", 230 pounds, about 5% body fat, it's 29. So that is several degrees higher than what's going to be considered to be the natural limit for guys who are very lean. And in fact, if you took 20 pounds of muscle off of him, he would still be higher than 25. If you took 30 pounds of muscle off of him, he would still be higher than 25 if you do the math. So, it is my opinion, based upon all the evidence that I can see here, that Simeon Panda is full of shit when he claims that he's natty, and he is most definitely on some whey protons. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.